What's going on, guys? It's me, Shukashu. We are back with another Umamusume video, and just like I said yesterday, we are gonna be training Ayabe for the first time because we did get her off the free ticket that we got from the monthly medal exchange. So here we are with Ayabe. Pretty much is gonna go with the full chaser setup. I do have my UD8 Duramente as a parent, as well as this typical gold chip that I've been using, especially for medium distance. And then here we are with the chaser setup. Decided to rent a Still in Love as my second speed card, Duramente as my speed card that I have chosen. Two stamina cards, a typical 2 stamina cards, my Super Creek, and also my Air Shakur. Taishin as my wise card, and then Nishino Flower as my power card. If I could technically use Ayabe's, I would, but I can't. So here we are with Nishino Flower, which is perfectly fine as well. And that is pretty much the setup for this run. Don't know really what to expect since this is the first time I am training her, so let's just hope for the best. Gonna get this started, but before we do jump into the run and also the comments, if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description down below, because there is a channel called Circle Requests. If you guys haven't joined a circle, y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shushu. Once you give that a search, hit request joined, and it'll let me know that you want to join the circle. And then after that, you can go either to the Discord server, to the channel Circle Request, or to the comments section and let me know that you sent the request on either or, along with your in-game name, just to make sure that I add you into the circle and not anyone else. With that being said, that is going to be pretty much it about that. So here we are with Admire Vega, training her for the first time, hoping she's not as emotional as she was in Road to the Top, but we'll just see what happens as we train her. Loading up the new comments, so I'm gonna let this go. What is this? What shall I pick here? We shall pick power because we do have 2 stamina cards. We'll be fine with that. We'll just do the power training here as well. I believe her growth rate is 10% speed and 20% power, which 20% on power seems good because at least we'll get some kind of boost from speed training. And then also when I do the power training or rainbow training and all that. But I do got the comments loaded up, and as per usual, the first comments, or first good batch of comments, are gonna be from Nova. And the first one says, I guess I'll keep fighting and get rid of my Lucky Mustard title. This fight is long and gruesome, but one day I'll be away from this curse. One day. Well, I mean, you would have to probably go on a really bad streak, if anything, and then someone would have to kind of, I guess, pick up your luck. But I don't know if someone else can go for the full for the full 1 year, like with as many pulls as you did and all that. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if you go on a bad streak and then someone goes on a good streak, then I guess that would be the case. So I guess only time will tell at this point. Only time will tell at this point, if we're just strictly talking about Umamusume. Next comment says, I seriously doubt Shushu can hoard that much rocks. Unless Vexina's getting skipped. That is true. I forgot Vexina's possibility of being released is still most likely between now and the anniversary, right? So there's also that I need to consider, and also any other characters. But I mean, if let's say they would release the Aguri Cap collab, let's say maybe in about a year. If it's in a year, it's totally fine. I only say a year because it was about a month ago. It was like a month ago when they started the season 3. So if we go by that, or I wish I knew which part of 2025, because then it would make it easier. But they could either go later in the year, which is like fall time, or they said 2025, so that would probably be the latest, or maybe late 2025, who knows. Or it could be like, when did Road to the Top come out? Like around spring. Maybe it could be around spring, who knows. Or it could have been a year from when they announced or showed the teaser trailer, whatever, or announcement, and that would be in August in the half anniversary. So there's just many options on when they can release it. And I'm not sure if Shushu can survive the Christmas, New Year, and Valentine's Day. I'm sure Teo Valentine could be a thing. True. But for the Christmas one, I haven't necessarily pulled on the Christmas banners, like seriously, since the Cap one. I don't necessarily remember the past Christmas banners, to be quite honest. Let me take a look. Let's see. So this one is first one. For Valentine's, I definitely did want to get me Chocobon, but I ended up with Aishin Flash, which isn't bad. It's just I'd rather have Chocobon. And then what was it? New Year's that time around was Haru and Tiamapro. That was an easy skip. The second time around, we had gotten Daiwa Scarlet and Vodka. I believe I didn't pull, but if I did, I didn't get any of them because I do remember getting the Christmas Daiwa Scarlet later on as a spook. That year, the New Year's one was obviously Kita and Daya, so obviously I went for them. And then Valentine's that year was Ines Fujin and Measure Orion. Honestly, I wouldn't have mind pulling for Ines Fujin if I had to choose between the two. Obviously, I wouldn't pick Orion, so. And then this just last year. Yeah, I think this was just last year. The Measure Rose didn't really feel a need to pull. And I'm gonna just do this one. And the New Year's New Year's was just Nice Nature, which I ended up getting later on, and then I still had to pull for Kita because that was technically also around that time as well. It was like right before New Year's. And then Valentine's that time around was Manhattan, or this year was Manhattan Cafe and Yukino Bijin. I don't think I got either or. So even though there is a risk of them releasing, I don't think so, because one, Teo already has 3, and there are a lot more Umas that would they would probably rather release. So I don't think Teo would get anytime soon. Cap was just well set up to the point where they were just, I guess, waiting for Cinderella Grey to get an anime adaptation. Kita obviously has 3 as well, so I don't know if she would actually get one. I could see them releasing a Rudolph, which I would probably most likely pull. I just don't know when they would do Rudolph, because I think there's only the festival one and the normal one. So I'd say if I was to be worried about alts, it'd probably be more of the recent characters, kind of like Cheval, Satono Crown, Duramente. And I don't know, just more recent characters, if anything. Maybe, well, just Ramino, if we were, since it's pretty much been a year, a little over a year. Top Road as well. So there are options out there that they can, but I guess depending on the character they choose would make that decision. But if they release Verxina, which there is a high possibility between, like I said, now and the anniversary, then I could see that happening. Could definitely see that happening. Also, I feel like they would probably go more with, like, I don't know, they hint that, I don't know if they would anymore, because with the June Bride event or the wedding event, when they had featured Teo as the event card, I don't know if they would make her a wedding one, maybe a ballroom one, but I'm not sure. I'm just guessing at this point. At this point, I am just guessing. Also, Tanoki needs to save for all those meta Umas coming out. He should consider that with the free-to-play whale mindset. I mean, I feel like he still would like to pull for the Umas he likes, so... we'll just leave it at that. Plus, I feel like he'd rather pull for Umas he want, and then just will go for the meta cards, if anything. That sounds more like what it would be, but he can correct me if I'm wrong. 4 options. I believe that's just straight skill, top 1. I'll go for option 3. Yeah, we'll go with option 3 because that's wise. Okay, we got the good end of that. We got the good end of it. I think this would be a perfect time to rest, since not a lot of them are there. The ones with the gears. Next comment says, last Sia made me suffer emotional damage. Really now? What was... I mean, that was pretty much your first time going that hard for a CM, right? So I guess. People were taking the election results hard, but I'm like, bruh, trading Donna 50 times is not it, man. I request time off from Uma, but I'll be considered the most tryhard Uma player in history if I took another hiatus again. I mean, if you just disappear, I wouldn't think so. If you just randomly went on a hiatus, I wouldn't think so. But Tanoki responded saying, haha, the election was a blast. Hold on, give me a sec. I was bouncing around the internet where a whole bunch of people collectively losing their minds or celebrating depending on their affiliation. Then I noticed one non-political commentator was streaming about the election. I clicked in because that was interesting. Give me a sec. I'm just looking. What would be my best option here? I think I'll just go with this one. He was just like, yep, no super majority for either side. That's good. Then spent most of the stream just chilling and talking about anything else under the sun. The rational adult reaction was a refreshing juxtaposition to seasoned political commentators who are acting like children, even though tend to play themselves off as the serious, well-informed adults. I guess you could technically see I kind of had the same approach towards the whole election. I don't necessarily pay attention to politics or anything like that. It's not my thing. Never really was interested in it. It's just usually around the election where I kind of put like 2% of my attention into it, pretty much. Mainly on election day. Anything before that is kind of whatever just pops up in the news if I somehow come across it, which isn't easy to avoid, because even on YouTube they would have like breaking news and all that, so it's not really that hard to avoid. So yeah, whatever I see basically around that time, or if anything happens throughout the year, then whatever happens, happens. Or whatever I read is whatever I read. Nova responded back saying, the thing about people crying or literally having their emotions affected for the whole week is baffling to me. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to see which. I think I'd rather just choose, right? Yeah, I think I would go power. It's just politics, and it should just be something that people pay attention to when it's important. Even around the time when it's important, I still, like I said, put like 2%, maybe at most 5 into it. So to get this involved personally is just beyond dumb to me. As a political science guy, I find both sides dumb, but at least I can get some entertainment out of this every 4 years. Like I said, I'm not a political guy, or not into the whole political science thing, so I wouldn't necessarily call it entertainment for me. It's more of a I dare I say it's just more of a nuisance to me, because it's just news I just necessarily don't care about, if we're just gonna be completely honest, or if I'm just gonna be completely honest. Next comment says, I guess Wuwaluk will have to come in clutch for me. I don't want to swipe for once. Well, I'm pretty sure you left a comment on about it in later, in the later comments that you have here. Probably your most recent one out of all your comments. So we'll see what you say there. I guess there is a PC client for Heaven Burns Red. Yes, I did see that. And I did download it, and it was a whole like 27, basically 30 gigabytes. I'm just like, bro, seriously. Well, I'm gonna get the download tonight going. I'm not sure if I want to re-roll or not. This is probably the first time in a gacha where I probably know exactly what's going to happen. I didn't start when Heaven Burns, in the JP version at least. I didn't start exactly at the beginning. Like I said, I pretty much started like prior to the Angel Beats collab. That was like the main reason why I started playing it, to be honest, and I'm glad I did, because I did end up enjoying the game. I just had to drop it because they weren't letting me play even with a VPN. So I was basically just not able to play the game. I was kind of just sad about it. In a way, I was kind of sad about it because I was slowly like really getting the ins and outs of the game. And now that it's been like a year, maybe 2, I kind of just forgot. But at least I kind of get an idea of what it's supposed to be, and at least I'll be able to understand more of what's going around in the game, as in everything's pretty much going to be translated. But I did like the game and how it was, like the gameplay and all that. So it does have a high chance of it sticking around, especially now that I'm playing from the beginning. I don't know the reroll process for the game itself. If it's not too long, I'll most likely reroll. But if it's a lot, I feel like it won't be too long. But if it's like a whole process where you gotta go through like the whole tutorial and all that, because you know how some games you can just literally just skip the tutorial. Yeah, but it basically just depends on that. If I'm not able to skip the tutorial, I'll probably do it a few times if I really want to. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I may or may have rerolled in the JP one. I just don't know how it really went. So I guess I'll figure that out, what, tomorrow? Because it's on the 15th, right, Nova? Right? I don't know the exact time. Could it be tonight? Could it be the 15th, like UTC 8? But it could be like late tonight. I don't know. I'll just wait for like a message on on a Discord or something about you possibly starting it or something. I don't know. Something like that. We'll see. Next one says League of Heroes Uma is like meh. I probably will try. Hold on. I'm pretty sure I want Imminent Shadow, right? Because I don't have it, and it's an acceleration skill, so I'll go for that. Although I could have probably went for what is it, Soaring? If it's Soaring Stride, I could still get it out of I could still get it out of the run Umamusume selection later though, right? If I choose Taishin. But I think it'll be okay. But hold on. I probably will try Summer. That's kind of rude. Summer Flatsuka and Marvelous and maybe even Serious. That's kind of rude because I do like Suzuka. I did mention I did like Suzuka over Special Week. And Marvelous and maybe even Serious. Gotta savor the middle distance before long distance destroys us. Yeah, I kind of do want to kind of get started on long distance training like I mentioned earlier, just to kind of get some parents ready, at least decent enough parents ready for the CM training, because a lot of my parents are pretty much just now like medium distance. And then whatever mile and short distance was from the Great Food Festival. So yeah. Like I said, I don't know really who I'm going to use for the League of Heroes. Doesn't necessarily matter to me. It might just be the placeholders that I have, which is Teo, the UC Teo, obviously, and the UD8 Duramente, and whoever wants to be in the third one. Whereas for the Arimakinen, basically the Arimakinen, because it's in Nakayama as well. CM next month. I'm kind of thinking who I should bring. Long distance, maybe I'll bring back Daya, just because it's been a while since I trained her, as in the New Year's Daya, to match her up with like maybe the anime collab Kita as well. And then a debuff for maybe Nice Nature. Maybe. Oh wait, no, maybe not Nice Nature, because I won't be able to use her card. Let me see what her card does again. Should still have it here, but I think I'm just gonna look at it here. Then just go. Did I get an S in anything? No. A Nice Nature, Nice Nature. Yeah, it has Faltering Betweeners. Unless I could find a different card for Faltering Betweeners, then... Oh, it has some other things as well, like... Well, that's for medium distance. But the other Betweener one, Sharp Gaze, slightly flusters other girls in the final leg, so that could be a little bit helpful. So, I don't know. We'll see. If I could find another Faltering Betweeners, which maybe... Oh, if I use just regular Nice Nature, she'll have it. That is an option. If I choose Nice Nature, then everything else could be the same, as in cards wise. Huh. I'll probably bring in Nice Nature, just to kind of have like that kind of a season 3 feel, even though. Well, I guess, yeah, because she did kind of have a presence in season 3 because of Kita. So it would be Kita with her sensei. That's right. So, and then obviously with Daya. Maybe that'll be my team. Who knows? Or maybe I'll bring someone completely different. That I don't know either. But at the same time, it all just depends on how my training goes for the long distance, because I'm pretty sure this time around is gonna be easier, only because there's gonna be two two stamina cards, whereas before I was relying on one plus whatever inheritance I had. Whereas this time around, it's pretty much guaranteed that you'll get enough stamina. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. It's just a matter of getting like the skills you want, or the skills that you know, along with these stats. Obviously, the most ideal stats would most likely be however my UD8 and UC Teo is, just because it's the most I can get out of him. And yeah, so we'll just see what happens when the CM comes around. But I am thinking of doing some training to at least try to get somewhat of a decent long distance parents started. Oh, we got 5th place. We got 5th place. TM Opera or Fur Top Road. Win variation, something like that. Something like that. Because I think this is the one I want to pull. I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm a sucker for red hair characters as well. Cool. Any more? I guess Kawakami Princess is the dead Uma to Shushu. I do like Princess, but only got the OG one. Well, just that one specifically, only because I got 2 copies of her when I could have gotten Teo. That's pretty much it. If we're talking about like an Uma I definitely wouldn't use, we're most likely looking at Haru and TM Opera. But I guess maybe Measure Right, because I have used her probably like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, or a year and a half, somewhere along those lines. Only because like she was technically kind of useful for, what was it, medium distance, I think, or just for betweeners. So yeah, it is what it is. But at this point, I probably most likely wouldn't use her. So there we go. And then I think this is the last one from Nova. Yes, it is. Let me just do this real quick. Ooh, 50. What to do? Honestly, if I don't get a rainbow training, then this would probably just be worth it. So I'm gonna just do it. But the last comment from Nova says Camellia pull update. Are you just calling her Camella? I just noticed that now because I keep saying Camellia just because I'm assuming you're forgetting to put the Y. It's literally one letter, but I mean, you do also tend to just type in whatever name you rather put them, just like how for Chingy you say small cop chick instead, and you don't necessarily say Zhuyuan either. But anyways, Camellia pull update. I think I got the first 5-star after 50 pulls. The way you make that sound. Okay, it was early for once, and it was a Verena. That's not a bad thing. You getting a Verena dupe, because you know, at least she's the second healer that we can use, and along with Shorekeeper for 2 different teams. So I guess it's all right. I guess that's okay, but unfortunately you did lose the 50-50. What do I want to do? I think, yeah. I kept going, and after 70 more, I got her. Weapon took 72. Overall, not bad, I'd say. I was bound to lose a 50-50 eventually. Wait, was this your first 50-50 loss since... Was this your first 50-50 loss for like Jinxie, Chun-Li, and Shorekeeper? Let me rest here. But at least it was to a decent one instead of Voldemort. Yeah, like I said, at least it was Verena. Of course, I did spend $40, but kind of on the cheaper side. Well, yeah, that is compared to before. Yeah, that does sound a lot more cheaper than than before. We said like 100 to 200, right? Yeah, usually I expect to dish out 100 to $200 easily, but good thing I saved a lot of rocks. I think what made it possible was there wasn't really like a phase 1 phase 2 thing anymore where we would have to worry about a character for phase 2, because they're starting to do reruns because it's towards the end of the 1.0 patches. I'm just gonna call it that because we're gonna be heading into 2.0 soon, whenever they decide to do it. But I think if I read it correctly, they're planning to do 1. Where are we on 1.4, whatever it is, for like 2 months, like 50 something days. I don't know, basically like 2 months. So it's kind of just still gonna take a long time before we hit that point anyway. It's like they're trying to time it for like New Year's or something, around that time, just around January. I could be wrong, but But yeah, there was a lot of time to save up for it's gonna rest for this patch, simply because we didn't really have to worry about pulling for Gion, because it's just Gion. Even though he's cool, I just didn't necessarily want to pull. I went for Yoo-Hoo instead. Which I'm pretty sure I did mention that before. Also, this is what swiping is for. When things don't go your way in Wuwa or Zenless, swiping really does solve the issue. Maybe for you, because not everyone will have the luxury that you do, swiping whenever you feel like you need to swipe. After raising Camellia to level 90 and her weapons to level 90, I'm just going to focus on the forte. Her echo is going to be locked behind the story, but that'll be for the weekend. First impression is that she is strong and fun to use. I guess now it's just her, Chun-Li, and Shorekeeper as a team. I'm not sure if this is anything optimal, but we're still too early in the game to have a perfect elemental comps, in my opinion. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Where was this? I did end up raising her to level 90 along with her weapon. You already know that. Just letting you know now that I at least did get her. But to see the results on how I got her, there you go. I did debate whether or not it was gonna post it last night, but I decided not to because it was already like around like close to 10 when I was uploading it. So I decided to hold off on that. But yeah, I do need to focus on her forte, and just like Shorekeeper, I'm having an issue with those like star materials. So I don't know how I'll be able to get a lot of those. I probably would just have to run around the world and just beat up the echoes. I don't know what her echo is, because I pretty much had like the Dreamless already. I don't know what echo is locked behind her story, so I guess for sure that would most likely be her best echo. At least if it's not, then I would most likely at least have the Dreamless ready for her. I do plan to hopefully record the story along with all the companion stuff, stories, and all the other stuff for Zenless. Hopefully I can possibly squeeze it this weekend, at least the main stories and the recent agent story and companion quest, because I don't want to forget about it again. And as for the team, I'm not too sure, but I think she is just primarily going to be the one for the on-field DPS, from my understanding at least. And I think basically she's just gonna thrive off having lots of buffs and support. So we're looking at possibly just using Shorekeeper and Verino with her. That's at least my thought process. Or you can use Sanhua, because I think we're just trying to boost her basic attack based on her kit. That's what I get out of it. But I did just shove her. I just basically did the same thing. Same team as you did. I just replaced Jinxie and put Chun-Li in Shorekeeper. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's still fine. But I don't know if we're really necessarily going for like pure single elemental team comps, because like you said, it is too early. We don't necessarily have like the best single elemental comps. Like for Havoc, it's not really the best, but you can have full teams of certain elements, or if not all the elements. It's not really quite optimal. Like we're looking at, like for example, Chun-Li's most optimal team would be Chun-Li, Zdeja, or Yinlin, which is they're not fusion or fire, however you want to call them. They are ice and or electric, and then you have Shorekeeper, who's Spectro. So I think it's just basically gonna be like, I think the focus is just gonna be like, it's mainly gonna be like multi-elemental teams. I don't think like it will be like, you can do it, but I don't think they plan to fully focus on having single elemental teams. Because even with Shorekeeper, or not Shorekeeper, Chun-Li, obviously the healer is not going to be fusion, but you can run her with Chun-Li with Encore, like I said, because Chun-Li will buff Encore's resonance liberation, and also just fusion damage, I guess, in general, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, it just depends. I don't think there's gonna be like, because even in Genshin, using as an example, you don't necessarily go single elemental either, and it's the same with Ariel, and even I would say, yeah, even in Zenless, you can, if you can, but you don't necessarily have to at the same time, because it's more like, I guess you could say, like factions one way or another. Kind of like how if we're gonna run Miyabi, she's ice, but then you're most likely gonna want to run her with, possibly, I'm thinking Yanagi, which is she's electric. And then you can obviously have the support, which could be Sokaku, or could be anyone else you would want on the support. Actually, we're possibly looking at basically the same team as Bernice, maybe. And it'll be like Yanagi, Miyabi, and Caesar, because Caesar and her buffs. Or instead of Caesar, if you don't have Caesar, obviously you can use Lucy, and she's fire. So yeah, I feel like single elementals are fine, but I don't think they're the like teams. So like just how it's just what I'm getting out of all these games, that obviously I'm comparing all of them with each other, but it's not necessarily a single elemental thing. Like, it's not the main focus anymore, or has been, from my impression at least. From my impression at least. Other than that, yeah, I don't know what you mean by perfect elemental comps. I don't know if you were talking about like actual single elemental comps, or elemental team comps, or Yeah, I don't know exactly know what you mean by that. So I just went with the assumption that you're talking about single elementals because I remembered you mentioning something about like how you hope that Camellia was fusion so you could run her with Chun-Li, but she's Havoc, and we don't. And we're looking at Havoc. Technically, you can run her. Well, if you, since I feel like Camellia wants to be just on the field, you could. I don't know really if there's any quote unquote support for Havoc. The Shorekeeper just pretty much is really good, and then there's Verena as well. Other than that, that is pretty much it for the comments from Nova. Appreciate it as always, and also thank you to Noki for replying to one of his comments, if not two. I don't really necessarily remember. I think it's just one. And then the next comment, I'm looking, is gonna be from Rick. I saw a YouTube video of the Death Note Among Us game. It seemed fun. Honestly, I feel like I'd probably have more fun with. I was trying to click the stamina button, but I guess. I honestly feel like I'd probably have more fun with the Death Note one. Not because it's Death Note, but I don't know. It just feels like maybe because I've already played Among Us. Although I'll admit I didn't really necessarily play it after probably the first 6 months. I probably didn't even reach 6 months to be quite honest. So yeah, I'd probably feel like one obviously is Death Note. I do like Death Note. And also the whole like idea of being able to pass the Death Note and you could basically switch between who's going to be Kira and then Kira's follower, basically whoever doesn't have the thing. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. Other than that, thank you for the comment, Rick. Appreciate it as always. Next comment is going to be from Tanoki. There's a couple of them. First one says, meta mentality is just something y'all just asserted and ran with, but all I do is look at a skill chart once a month for League of Heroes, CM, and a support card spreadsheet every other month or so. I think, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like it's just because the way you mention things or or I guess just the way you give off your advice and the way you speak and all that, it just sounds like you're it really gives off that meta mentality then compared to what we usually talk about or think, because we don't necessarily look into spreadsheets or anything like that. I don't know about the others, but I'm just speaking for myself. I don't willingly look into spreadsheets because I'm just running with whatever I have, and as you all know, I don't necessarily, I just noticed something. What happened to my level? Why is it still at 200s? But like why is it so? Oh well, it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is, I guess. But yeah, I feel like it's just basically just how the vibe we get off from whenever you talk about just talk about builds and all that, builds, or just how you say the advice and all that. I don't know, it's just I feel like it's just how it is, and it kind of just gave us that vibe. That's what I'm saying. I don't get why having a semblance of optimizing my build means I have to burst the bank for a game. Oh, I think it's not really that. We weren't. It's more like we know you're free to play, but at the same time, the mentality of just having like it's like a meta whale type of deal. That's just that's just the vibe I get. Although I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to speak for everyone else because they could be a different thing. But I'm not saying like your advice is bad. It's just yeah, it's just the vibe, you know. It's just the impression we get off it, how you say it, how you speak, maybe. That's pretty much it. But that's the equivalent of someone playing a strategy game on the hardest difficulty. Then you say, well, you'll do so much better on the lower difficulty, and oh, you can use dev mode to spawn in resources. Well, I don't necessarily care about dev mode. Neither do I even think about it, because I don't know what games, unless you're just talking about like, I don't know what kind of strategy games you're talking about. But if we're talking about just difficulty wise, I do enjoy the challenge of playing in like the hardest difficulty and all that for games I do enjoy playing. So I do get that. I do get that, because that's why with these like games where I would normally just start off with a normal or like difficulty, that standard difficulty will say, just so I can have more of an enjoyment of the game. And then the next playthrough, obviously I'll go push for the hardest difficulty or the next hardest difficulty, and then go push myself to the hardest difficulty, because I do find enjoyment in that, especially for games that I do enjoy playing, or like the series. So no, I do get that. It's just, like I said, it's probably just the vibe we get off from how you speak. That's the most I got. And then Inoki had added to that comment saying, not sure if it was ever clear from the way I speak, but I tend to add more adjectives when I banter. You can add more or less adjectives. It depends on how us people read it. But more than one run a day is for sweaty tryhards equals banter. He already has a UC 2 months into starting the game. Yes, real player, by the way. I think he's a tryhard equals real discussion. To me, it just sounds like something you'd say. Worst, the only reason why I think I said this in yesterday's video. The reason why I said what I said is because you said it because of, you know, you've mentioned in the past that regardless of the run, like I repeat this, but regardless of the runs that I do in a day, before or even now, I would say you know, kind of didn't matter, and you kind of just still, I don't want to say it again, but since this is the example we're going with, and why it didn't necessarily click to me as banter, because obviously depending on how you say things online, it can give the impression of whether or not, you know, it's just, you know, you're just teasing around or quote unquote bantering around, because you could be having that mindset where you're, or that impression that you just want to like mess around, tease, banter, whatever you want to say. And there's gonna be that one person where they're gonna be like, they probably won't take it the way you wanted them to. And just like me, you saying more than one run a day for it's for sweaty tryhards, it definitely, I was not the right person to read that because of what you said to me in the past. Plus, on top of that, to me, those two comparisons of how you said it still sounds like something you'd normally say, so it wouldn't really click to me if one was banter or one was a real discussion. And I know I said this before, just pretty much just you gotta word it correctly if you want to not want to get misunderstandings out of the way. That's pretty much what I gotta say to that. Getting an A really threw me off. It always happens with like new Umas. or like these like for like the little gimmicks in the scenarios. It always happens with newer Umas where I'm just kind of like, eh. But it could also be the fact that I am going over comments as well, so it kind of just, you know, it kind of just threw me off and I got distracted. But it's fine. I feel like there were options that I should have chosen because I was probably at least like one or two better chosen training options to probably made it down to level 0, and I wouldn't have to get an A. But it is what it is. I'll just run another training after this and see how I get after that. But this is the first training. Probably the next one will be better, which I hope. Most likely the next one should be better, right? And then Nova says, well, I think I'm a casual. I'm just gonna say that. That's what am I trying to say? That's what we thought you were. But based on your cards, apparently not. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to bring it up the thing again, but it was just how things were, how we took things in that first situation. So it is what it is at this point. Because like I said, at this point I don't necessarily care about it as much. It's just I just, like I said, embraced it because that's just how it is at this, for me at least. I just embrace it and all that. Then the next comment from Tanoki says, gaming chairs are just overpriced office chairs that look a little different. Well, like I said, they basically look like bucket seats for race cars, or if you want to change your, basically racing seats. So it's just office chairs in the disguise of a bucket seat is how I would say it. But for me, like I said, I'll probably most likely just go for like a more comfort over getting an actual gaming chair, unless there's a gaming chair that's doesn't necessarily break the bank, but is still like good enough quality and is more comfortable. Or I can just find like like what would they call those chairs, like an ergonomic chair or something like that. I don't know, but I just realized we didn't even get an S in medium distance as well. But I do agree, gaming chairs are just typically overpriced office chairs that look like bucket seats. Next comment from Tanoki says, just had a thought given this scenario's abundant of stamina. Stamina debuff skills are kind of pointless now, right? Especially on medium distance. Now that you put it that way, yeah, probably like was it restrained debuffs won't matter, because I believe those are the ones that decrease stamina, which I mean you can still go for like the faltering runners and all that, because they would I think those are the ones that instill hesitation, so that's perfectly fine. But for like the restrained debuffs, I'm trying to find it on the thing. Trying to find it for like the restrained debuffs, I think those for sure you don't necessarily have to worry about too much, but it says restrain and slightly tire out, so I feel like it's a two types thing. So even though the tire out part of it won't necessarily matter, at least that's what I'm thinking based off on what I'm reading or my understanding. Even though it will slightly tire them out, I don't think it necessarily matters, because I guess we're trying to still go for like the restrained part of it, unless it's just the same thing and it doesn't necessarily matter. I don't know the answer to that. So what I see here is just stamina drain. So probably not. I don't know. Eugen, do you know if it's just a stamina decrease, or is there something more to it than just a stamina drain? Because if that's the case, then I could most likely just swap out the Symboli Rudolph card for a debuffer. If that's the case, and just put in a different card. Now that you mention it, Tenoki, so yeah. Maybe. Maybe. But you do bring up a good point there. I just wanted some clarification from anyone, really, if it still matters or not. Because it says restrain and slightly tire out. So I'm just assuming that maybe it could be a 2-type thing or 2 kind of effect thing. If not, then it is what it is. And then lastly from Tenoki, hey, Ayabe, not a dupe is a big win. It definitely is. It definitely is. Feels good. It feels good indeed. I quite like her. I don't mind her at all, yeah. Definitely like her more than Tiamat, bro, if we're talking about just with the top road. The road to the top, I mean. Part. Was it OVA? ONA? ONA? So I don't know where she would be on the list though. Like, I'm cool with her. I definitely don't like her. I don't think she's top 20, but she's definitely not in the bottom of the list either. I would say she's more like in the top half of the list than its bottom half. That's at least my assumption as of right now that I'm thinking about it. Nova says, I don't. Well, I'm actually not surprised that you don't, because you only look for primarily, probably mainly one of 2 things. And I don't even have to mention it what it is, because everyone at this point already knows what your preferences are. So I'm gonna just leave it be at that. I'm just gonna leave it be at that, Nova. Like I'm gonna just say, like, for Zenless, for Yanagi, she would have been fine if it wasn't for one factor. The fact that she wears glasses. That's all I gotta say. That's all I pretty much gotta say. That's pretty much it. I don't have any other thing to add up to that. I don't have anything else to add to that. But other than that, whew, that's pretty much it from Tenoki. Appreciate all the comments as usual, Tenoki. And thank you also to Nova for replying to 2 of them. And lastly, there is a comment from Eugen. I'm trying to see if there's any more additions to it by refreshing. But no, there isn't. And it says, busy at the moment, didn't even watch the vid. Open and close parentheses yet. Only just comment for now. Well, if you do add a comment, it'll be in tomorrow's video. And then Nova says, Eugen, Nojin, oof. All right. Other than that, thank you for the comments, Eugen, Tenoki, Rick, and Nova. I appreciate, as always, like I've always say. What happened? Why can't I click? Why can't I click? Hello? Okay, that was weird, but sure. But yeah, like I said, thank you, Eugen, Tenoki, Rick, and Nova for the comments. I appreciate it as always. And yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much it for the comments, and we are already towards the end. Unfortunately, we do not have an S in medium distance. I don't even know if we got an S in anything else like turf. I don't even know if I have turf. I know I do have chasers, and then that long distance from Duramente. She also had long distance, but I don't know. Let's see. Did we get an S in anything? No. I was hoping at least getting it for Chaser, but primarily I do have it for medium distance. Did I just do this? I could just do this. Yeah, because power is already almost close. So I'm just gonna do stamina. And I think by now, definitely. Oh, did I not upload it? I swear I thought I did. Oh, yeah, it is uploaded. Now I thought I didn't upload the Camellia video, but now it's uploaded. I just need to add all the fancy stuff. Fancy stuff as in just the description and all that. And also I do still need to make the thumbnail. But that will be after I edit and upload this video. Honestly, the stats aren't too bad. I just wish I didn't get an A on the one of the upgrade exams. That's pretty much it. Stats aren't too bad. Stamina is a little bit lower than I thought it would be, but we do have, I think power has been maxed out, but we'll check that out later. Then we'll just pick out some skills. We'll pick out that one. That's the Still in Love. Let me just pick out, this one is Dormentes. That's the normal version of her gold skill. You can get stamina cube, that could work also. I don't know if I want to get common collected. I don't know just yet. But we can get the medium distance. Yeah, we can get faltering leaders and faltering runners. I don't know about restraint, but I think that's soaring stride and imminent shadow. Then we didn't grab that, but there we go. With 320, let's see what else we can grab straight skill. And then binding changed should be fine. And with 89, we'll just grab this one. All right. Got that. I didn't get common collected. I believe it's common collected, right? And we did get a UD. For our first training, it wasn't the best training because of you get an A in one of the upgrade exams, and certain things probably could have been better, but honestly, it was a pretty good run. If we had more stamina, obviously we would have had more power, and yeah, everything else seems perfect fine. I think it's just stamina that could have been better, because then it would have made guts a little bit better. I'll just grab this medium distance one. It's fine. But we ended off with 1741 on stamina, 1310 on stamina, 1489 on power, which is nearly maxed out, I think. 674 on guts and 1240 on wise, with no S aptitude on anything, so it is what it is. And yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this run. This is obviously going to be the best Ayabe run because it is our first one. And with that being said, that is going to be the end of this video. If you guys didn't make it this far in this video, I do want to say thank you. If you guys can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you guys thought of the run. If there's anything that you want me to try out to kind of just adjust the run a little bit or something, let me know down in the comment section, whether if it's support cards or anything like that. Obviously, with what I have, and not any suggestions with things that I don't have, but you know what I mean. But if there's anything else y'all want to talk about, whether if it's Umamusume, any other anime games or anything like that of the sorts, or just like simply just asking me questions, as long as it's appropriate, I'll go over it. And then if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description down below, because there is a channel called Circle Requests, for the very reason if you guys haven't joined a circle and you guys are looking for a circle to join, y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shushu. Once you give that a search, hit requests and join. It will let me know that you want to join the circle, and then after that you can either go to the circle request channel in the Discord server, or back here into the comment section and let me know that you sent the request along with your in-game name, just so I can make sure to add you into the circle and not someone else. But with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you once again, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.